What's it going to be?
I would love you to answer what your biggest achievement is so far in your career.
Overseeing the Burna Boy Stadium tours.
Wow.
Because that was real multitasking. We had 60,000 people in the stadium both times, and that was a big one. That was big.
I mean, that's a huge.
It's a huge one for me. I don't know if I can top that, but yeah, it was awesome. I think I'm gonna squeeze some of that in.
Oh,
you can have the big one.
Ooh, delicious.
Sorry.
Hey.
That's really nice, though.
It is.
I don't know why I'm surprised. That's really nice. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm awesome.
It's been a long time since I've seen you last week.
Yeah, well, it's been a few days.
It's been a few days at the Martell event, which was amazing.
That was awesome.
I'm so happy, firstly, to have you on here.
Thank you.
So I think more and more people need to know your incredible story and the impact that you've had on Afrobeats, and you shouldn't shy away from it.
I do.
And you shouldn't, because as women, we need to see other women in these spaces. And a lot of the time, especially in the music industry, it's the same, marketing, working at a DSP, I don't know, assistant, whatever it is.
There's a whole world out there.
There's a whole world of touring. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm really excited for people to understand your story, the impact that you've had, and where you see the future of Afrobeats. So you've been in the industry for 15 years, plus 15 years, right? Would we say that?
Yes. Yeah. Give or take, yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah.
How did you get into the industry?
Oh, dear. So my journey started way before 15 years. So I was the tag-along for my uncle. He was the artist, he is the artist, JJC of the, I think he created Big Brothers, he created 419 Squad. He also discovered the band and, Don Jazzy's early days as a producer. So I used to be that one that would be in the studio with them. So I saw Don Jazzy in his literally early days, and the first time I really thought I love concerts or Afrobeats concerts, they had a performance in what was then Hackney Empire. It was like a Nigerian independence concert, and JGC had his hair green, white, green, and he had this new artist called The Band, and he brought out the harmonica and he blew the harmonica and everybody went wild, and I thought, I want to do this. I would have been about 14 or 15 then, just tagging along, following them around. And that was my first time sort of having a little taste of the Afrobeat space and concerts, because that was the first concert. Before, we were stuck in clubs, we were in moonlighting, and we couldn't really do much. There was a lot of restrictions, police checks and a lot of barriers to the growth of Afrobeats in the early days.
Wow, so you were there at the forefront of it all then?
Yeah. Right in the beginning, when it was Afro pop and they were still trying to find a word, there was no such word called Afrobeats.
Wow.
The word Afrobeats came, I think, after 2011. We did a show called Afrobeats Festival, and it was myself, Coco Bar, Tunde Phoenix, and Smade. We all came together to create something for this Afrobeat space. And we had an artist, the headliners then was P Square, and then we had this young lad that was just full of energy and he wanted to perform, and his name was Wizkid. So that was the first gig and it was at Hammersmith Apollo, and that was the first proper Afrobeats festival, and the name came after that.
Wow.
That's where it started.
How was that working on the first Afrobeats festival?
It was absolutely amazing. That time there was pre-Instagram ads, pre-Facebook ads and TikTok and all sorts. We were on the street giving out flyers. We were creating CDs with DJs, and you'd print the flyer on the CDs, make these mixtapes, and in between you hear the advert, and we were outside the stations giving these things away. We were outside the clubs, distributing it. That's grassroots marketing, We had a mascot that was, literally on the streets talking to people. We were in Peckham, we were everywhere. And, and that time there wasn't any digital tickets. It was all physical tickets. So we were going to all the food shops and saying, okay, you get £2 per ticket. And we were
that's
hustling
real marketing.
We were hustling it. It was a hustle, but it sold out. It was oversubscribed, and it was an amazing gig. So that was the first time, I think, even the industry, the venues as well,
It's also
thought
like
that,
that.
okay, yeah, we could open our doors to this thing, because again, we've had loads of challenges.
Yeah, and that was 2011.
2011. Yeah.
Wow. And you mentioned Wizkid.
Yeah.
So you actually did Wizkid's first tour in the UK
Wizkid.
in 2012. How was that? Especially seeing the growth of Wizkid now. Could you imagine 13 years later? Like,
Wizkid is unique for me because
yeah.
at the same time as we did his 2012 tour, we were so grassroots, and we saw so much in him that, we were taking him to secondary schools. We did a second because we thought, well, they do it in America, we can do it,
Yeah.
So we took him to secondary schools, and if you imagine in 2012, what's that, 12 years ago? So those kids would have been about 12. Now they're what?
25.
25, 26, 27. And these are the guys that still his fan base. These are, what is his fan base called?
Starboy FC.
FC. No, Wizkid FC.
Wizkid FC, sorry.
Yeah, so they're hardcore because they grew up with him, you know? So it was amazing doing that, because again, that was a sellout. He gave his all. He's always been an artist that gives absolutely everything on the stage, back then. And it was such a pleasure. And of course, I was also a producer, funnily enough.
Wow, so you
I did
both.
loads of music videos.
Wait, so you did
Azonto, and for Wizkid did Azonto as well, and Fuse ODG.
How was that for you then? So you were a producer, and you also do tour management, correct?
Yes.
So
I was doing a lot more producing back then. So with this Afrobeat space, you tend to evolve and go with, the flow of whichever direction is going. And at that time, I was doing hundreds of music videos.
Wow.
I did Davido, Skelewu. I was so pregnant on that video.
Wow. See, these are the stories that people need to know, because there's women behind many videos that we all love today, especially in the Afrobeats world.
There is a lot. I was working with Moe Musa, so almost all the videos he did, I produced that. So he's actually my younger brother. So it was a family affair. And
It's a family affair.
It was a family affair. We were that family. And my husband is Tunde Phoenix, and working with... You didn't know this? So yeah, we were all working together to build something. We've always believed in Afrobeats and the potential, and we were not going to be left behind, whether it's through doing quality music videos or creating quality concerts. And that's always been... We're a creative family, so it's what it is.
Wow. So let's go into that. How important is community to you then, especially in the Afrobeats world and space?
Very important. I would love to see more cohesiveness in the industry.
Yeah.
I tend to see that everybody's kind of working in pockets. People experience sometimes negative things, and they just keep quiet about it, and they don't share. I was speaking to an artist manager, I won't say the name, and they were about to go into a meeting and discuss a deal. And I said to him, well, I think there's a pitfall here, and this artist faced something similar. Do you guys even speak to each other? Do you have a managers association or something? He said, yeah, we do, but okay, what do you guys do in that association? Do you not share experiences and pitfalls? Or guys, be careful of that brand, or be careful of, this company, because this is my experience with them. Because what you tend to see is every single artist falling into the same pitfalls.
Yeah.
And if we had more of a sense of community, then we could be stronger.
Definitely. Wow. And I think it's so important to actually discuss transparency.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough of it. What advice would you give to like an artist that is struggling within the music industry space, especially in touring? Because I know there's some artists that will get paid X or whatever, and then others will get paid a lot less. Because there's no transparency, no one really gets to have these discussions.
I think the first thing is for the artist to not only understand their value, but take a bit of time to understand the industry. Because there's several models that an artist can take that would lead to wealth or lead to success. But sometimes they can be quite short-sighted and just focus on what they get immediately.
Yeah.
There's touring formulas that we can learn from people like Taylor Swift and Beyonce. How have they, generated so much money from their tours that we're not doing? What is it? you know, and there's so many things that, I think a lot of education is needed within the touring, in short, the music industry. Forget about just touring.
Yeah.
Because, artists sign deals that sometimes don't make sense. It may make sense immediately because
Yeah.
they're trying to get out of the ghetto or get out of whatever circumstances they are. So they just think, this is going to take me to Victoria. It's going to take me to Ikoyi. It's going to take me to London. Fine, they sign it. But long term, they realize it doesn't necessarily work for them. So I think taking a bit of time to educate themselves on the short, medium, and long term possibilities when it comes to their music careers as a whole, because you can't have touring without the right, record label or record deal or the right type of music, so it's kind of symbiotic. It all works together.
Yeah, but do you think sometimes with especially Afrobeats artists, they thought it might be a phase? Sometimes with the industry, they think there's phases of certain genres that it's going to come and go. Do you think that affected?
Never be a phase. Certain, look, if we allow it to be a phase, it will be a phase. If we're stubborn and we stick to our guns and know our value, it will never be a phase. We're here to stay. Before Afrobeats, we had Afrobeat.
Yeah.
We have a whole, even under Afrobeat, Fuji, everything is under these genres. And these artists are still, some of them still living. We have Seshina Peter still kicking it, because why? He's created it. The music is still very much alive. Our music has a heartbeat. It's never going to die.
Yeah.
It cannot die because our culture is never going to die. No matter what happens politically, our culture will never die.
Yeah.
And because our culture is rooted in our music, Afrobeats can never die.
No.
Some certain fractions can say, oh no, Afrobeats is finished. It's dead. Don't bother. Fine, we will bother.
Yeah.
We will carry it on.
This is our culture. This is our...
It's our culture. It's our responsibility. Yeah. So what am I going to show my daughter? My 7-year-old that's coming up. Is it apata? I don't understand. Like, she has to know the music, and we have to carry it forward. We have a responsibility.
100%. What would you say is a big difference between doing an Afrobeats artist tour and like a pop artist tour?
I think the first thing will come with the teams that's available. So a pop artist would have a number of people working, and everybody's got their JD, their job descriptions, and they're working in their specific field, and everything comes together to develop an amazing tour.
Yeah.
Wonderful. With Afrobeats, you tend to have maybe one or two people.
Wow.
That would wear several hats. It can be stressful. It can be very stressful, but ultimately we pull it off. And one thing you find about our culture is no matter what you throw at us, we will always make it work. So, even if you have one person and their job, which I've faced, where I am that one person that has to pull in, think about ticketing, marketing, the design of the stage, managing the crew, logistics, where's everybody going to stay, hiring and firing, paying staff, and the artist welfare, and still dealing with whatever the artist requires and the management team. So you have that one person that would, and you know what, we'll do it with grace. We'll always make it happen. Sometimes the budgets, not most, sometimes, a lot of the times, no matter how much the artist is getting paid, sometimes the budget is just not available to have teams of people.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. How we're going to get there is still yet to be discovered.
Yeah, and I think also with Afrobeats artists, culture's always on the stage. How has that been for you? So you're not just going to have, I don't know, a few dances. There's always a story that's told when
I'll give you an example
touring.
of the Lunga Boy tour.
Yeah.
So
the Ashake one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sat down with Ashake and I said, at that point, I hadn't heard the album.
Oh, wow.
No, this conversation was in April.
Yeah.
And all I had was his previous albums, which we did his tour in 2022 as well. So we kind of understood his flair. He's a very creative person. But we hadn't heard the Lunga Boy album. We knew the name. The name was actually something longer, and we kind of shortened it to Lunga Boy.
Oh, it was longer?
It was
a
longer
name. The Lunga Boy was just after you lot decided.
Oh, I can't remember what it is now. It was a longer name. And I said, let's make it Lunga Boy. Short and simple, Now, I asked him, okay, this album that's yet to come, I think 1 or 2 songs had already been released. What were you thinking? You know, what was in your mind? I'm very much like you with my iPad. I've got my stylo and I'm right.
What are you going to say?
What are you gonna say?
Cross out if you need
And
to.
he came and he was talking about I grew up in Lagos Island, and you know we used to have there was a hospital, and then there was a so people were getting arrested. So I'm writing jail, hospital, and you know he will say that somebody will be frying akara. Frying akara. You know, we'll have the mama put. So I'm writing all these things down, you know, to get some kind of aesthetic. And at that time, he was getting into the skater boy era, you know, and I could see in his style of dress, and his whole demeanor was about skater. He was, you know, very interested in, you know, spending a lot of time in London, America, and he's like, yeah, I want it to be ghetto. Like, you know, I'm from the Lungu. Lungu means ghetto. I'm from raw, hard Lungu, Lagos Island. So I was writing all these notes down, barrels, drums. So then I literally take a pen and paper and I start drawing. You know,
you were drawing.
Yeah, I'm a rubbish drawer. I can't
draw. I was gonna say I need to see these drawings.
No. It's literally stick men, but I draw a framework of what I can visualize. I have to think about the band with composers, and we have to showcase they're not just a band, they are performers in their own right. So how we're going to showcase their talents as well, incorporating it into this world that we need to create. So draw the panels and my squiggly for the graffiti, you know, and the signboards, and you know, for the I have to also adapt what we take on tour, because a lot of the stuff is literally built. We can't carry that to a festival, so that's when we now develop those signboards, and we had the names of the roads. Those roads were very personal to him, you know, so we had those roads created. So we try to make it as personal to the artist's experience as possible, and what means something to them. The name of the Mama Put, Mama Put is like, what would you call, like a cafe? Was it was his mother's name, you know, and then we had the brand on it, because in Nigeria, that's what you see. He mentioned, I used to get my hair cut on the barbers around the corner. I created a barber shop on the corner, you know. So we had all these elements of his childhood experiences, because he was the Lungu boy. He came from the Lungu. Yeah. So he wanted to show the Lungu on the stage.
Wow.
So that's how that came about.
This sounds like a logistic nightmare in terms of doing it.
Fun.
UK, US, global tour.
Yeah.
How does that work for you, especially just keeping it authentic? So if you're going to the US, for example, there might be certain things that you might not be able to take. How do you still keep everything? You took everything?
Shipped it all.
Wow.
We shipped it all. Our first gig was Afro Nation. We used a smaller set.
Yeah.
Whilst that was going on, as soon as it got back, it all got shipped to Washington.
Wow.
And we toured it, and straight from Washington, it got shipped back to UK, and then it went, you know, where I think in Europe, it was only Cologne that the stage was a bit smaller. So we used the festival stage for that.
Wow.
Because the stage wasn't the standard 60 by 40.
How do you do this?
We had a crew of over 150 people.
Wow.
And accommodating everybody, traveling, you know, they would get in their trucks, packing that, like it was a whole operation.
Wow.
You know, but it wasn't just myself. I had, you know, my assistants as well. If not, I'll be finished. I'll be absolutely done.
What would you say is the biggest challenges in your role then?
I think just getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
When I'm on tour, I'm in tour mode. I'm quite robotic, and you know, I have to be, because there's just too many things that you can't drop the ball, because dropping a ball here means it's like a ricochet effect. And when you're on tour as well, you're facing different venue managers with different rules.
Yeah.
And Ashake and Tune Phoenix, they're very creative people. So what I tend to have is, in Texas, we want to arrive on horses. And I'm like, the show is on in about 8 hours. We got to make it happen. So and I'm doing battle with the venue manager to see, okay, is it possible? We need animal welfare checks, and we need, okay, fine, get you all these things.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. So a lot of the entrances that you saw, it was done a day beforehand or the day of, when he's arriving with the ATP riders, all the same day. the tank in London. Wow. Imagine the discussion I had to have with O2. Yes, so yeah, we're gonna arrive in a tank. What type of tank? Like a World War II tank? Yeah. So
How do you do those conversations?
you have to, if that's what it was the creative direction from Tunde Phoenix and Ashake, and it worked out. They were like, we need some certifications, obviously, but we push the needle as far as we can, if it's possible.
I mean, it's possible because you did it.
Sometimes impossible is still possible. That's one thing I've learned.
Yeah.
But we must be a nightmare for all these venues.
They're like, oh no, Ashake and his team are coming. Let's run, let's hide. What are your non-negotiables when it comes to a tour? For example, if you have a difficult venue, for example, is there anything you're like, this has to happen, whether it's a non-negotiable
I have to balance things out, know. Sometimes the creative direction may not meet up with health and safety. So this was the example of the horses in Texas. It was Houston. And, for example, if the horses are spooked, the floor was made of, one type of material that probably won't work with the shoe horses, the horseshoes.
Yeah.
So I have to use a bit of common sense and balance out the team to say, guys, look, this is not going to work because of A, B, C, D, but I would have already explored all avenues until I'm satisfied that this actually cannot happen. Then I'll have to go and say, look, guys, we're going to have to come up with something else, Yeah. So you can't have a non-negotiable, because you have to remember these venues have their own rules, regulation, health and safety, insurances, and no matter how much you want to push the needle, you still have to comply with these things.
Yeah.
Because you're not the only artist that they're going to have in the venue, and you're not going to be the first, you're not going to be the last, and you want to come back, so you can't be too difficult, because then they won't want you back,
100%.
Yeah.
You managed 2 of Burna Boy's stadium tours.
Yeah, that was fun.
How was that for you? Was that stressful? Was that a new challenge for you? Were you excited about it?
The first one, no, actually, you know what, the second one, I was so scared.
Why?
You're moving from first and second, actually. You're moving from arena, which is, biggest arena we have in O2 in UK is O2.
Yeah.
It's 20,000 capacity, but you end up, seating capacity, you're looking at about 16 or 17. They take away the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're moving to 60,000.
Yeah.
The first thing, you have to get your mind around the scale. So you're used to a 60 by 40 stage.
Yeah.
And now the stage is 100 feet. You're like, so where you think something is big on an arena, on a stadium stage, it's like 10 times bigger.
Yeah.
And it's really scary. And there's far more pieces. The police are far more interested. There's far more meetings, far more everything when it comes to... It's a completely different ball game. You have to have a liver of steel to do stadiums and a bigger team. But again, we have a small team. Those shows were done under Cocoa Bar. And I've been working with Cocoa Bar. I will say, okay, operations manager, but you're wearing like 50 million hats. There's just no word for the role that I had. There's no name for it.
Yeah.
Jack. And my name is Jack. Jack of all trades,
Yeah. You got to put different hats on different day.
And our team in Cocoa Bar is small. Myself, Ropo, ticketing. There's a new ticketing manager, but very small team, very bespoke, very tailored service. And with this small team, we still managed to pull through the stadium show.
Wow.
So that, it's a lot of work, but it's possible.
What are the key things that go into planning like a stadium tour?
First things first, local authority.
Yep.
The local authority have their own set of rules. Then you have the police, because everybody's more concerned about health and safety of the audience. And obviously the crew, how people are gonna come in, how people are gonna leave.
Yep.
The noise disturbance for local residents.
Oh yeah.
Where you're gonna park vehicles, hiring enough teams to deal with all these things. You have to think about power. We're in an arena, you pay your fee and everything comes there. But this one now, you have to hire a whole team that will bring generators as big as your house, to power, things so that people can continue working into the night, So there's so many things that you just don't even know that you have to think about, that all of a sudden you have to just, you got to know what to do.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
know? So a lot of this is, over the years, has been self-taught. You know, I didn't go to school for tour management. I studied communications.
Wow. And you got here. Look
I'm
at that.
here, you know? So a lot of the things I've done in my life has been self-taught or just learning from others. And, you know, my biggest person I've learned from is Ropo Akin, the owner of Cocoa Bar.
Wow.
He taught me everything I know in touring.
Wow. Now you're in the role.
Yeah.
What skills would you say people need to do what you do?
Patience. Patience, the ability to multitask.
Yep.
Be level-headed, be strong. Especially if you're a female, you have to be strong, because people would want to talk down to you. They want, especially being a black female, they make you feel like you don't know what you're doing.
How's that been for you? Have you had that experience at all? You're like...
You do, but
Yeah.
because I know what I'm doing, I just don't let... I've always had this policy in my life from childhood. I refuse to be bullied. I've just been like that from primary school.
Yeah.
You know, came back from 90... Well, I was born in London, but went there when I was 1, came back when I was 7, and all of a sudden I'm an African boo-boo. Like, oh, what happened? But even with that, I refuse to be bullied. So I've carried that throughout my life and in my roles. So if you want to behave, or like, if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just going to look at you like you're stupid, because I know exactly what I'm doing.
Exactly. And that's why I'm
You know?
here.
So I have that, and that confidence comes out. People tend to realize that, you can't play with this one.
Yeah.
You know, it's just how you carry yourself.
Yeah. And that's what you have to do sometimes.
You have to carry yourself well.
Yeah.
And don't, you know, if, for example, everybody's busy getting drunk, you can't get drunk.
No, you got to make sure everyone gets home.
Focused.
Yep.
Make sure everybody gets home.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, you can be getting drunk and enjoying yourself in your own time, but when you're on job, you're on job. So, I mean, everybody in the industry knows, they all call me Auntie Abby, bless them.
Oh.
They know Auntie Abby. And I don't, especially with my backstage, I need order.
Yeah.
Order. Because if it's not orderly, it reflects onto the venues and they think, oh, they're all like that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work for me.
Do you feel like there's some stereotypes around African artists or Afrobeats artists, especially when it comes to touring?
Absolutely. The minute they hear is an African artist, I'm sure, I mean, I don't know much about the Jamaican industry, but I'm sure they have the same stigma.
Yeah.
They just think, I mean, what you hear now, you have a venue where just the night before they had an event with maybe a mainstream artist and they had 600 people backstage, you know? Now it's your turn. They say, oh yeah, you can only have 100 people plus your, and that's including your crew. Your crew is like 30 people, you know? So it's like, that doesn't work. But they'll put that restriction on you because they anticipate problems. All of a sudden, because you're an African artist, they'll put you in a high risk category. And that means you have to pay more for security. You know, there's more scrutiny. And that's just an automatic thing.
Wow.
You know, that you have to deal with. You rise above.
We have to.
You rise above.
Has there ever been a time on tour where you've had to make a really difficult decision because of either the artist or the venue?
There's not much you can do with the venue. You just have to follow their protocols. And the artists, obviously, before you get on tour, they know you. You know, they worked with you. You know, you've had discussions. So you have a mutual agreement as to how you want this to go. So you're not going to get that kind of massive tantrum throwing challenge.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you do have that, you'll manage it, because again, you didn't just meet on the day of tour. You've fostered a relationship. You know, relationship is very, very important when it comes to touring. Yeah. Because there may be some times when you come to the artist and say, we can't do this. They have to have an understanding to know that you've tried.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, my mind is going back out.
And there's sometimes you have to make like tough decisions, like just before an artist goes on stage, or I don't know,
I made a tough decision in New York.
What happened?
So this was MSG, and it was a really tough decision, but it had to be done. We had already been fined. Now, MSG will fine you.
Do they?
Yeah, they will fine you. Any little thing. They have a system where the hire comes with you have to use their crew to build everything. And also their crew is part of they have their, not society, association or some kind of thing like that. And they have to stop for lunch for an hour, which is fine.
Yeah.
But in that hour, your own crew, maybe you have, because we had, for example, the guy that does the pyro, and I think he saw a wire unplugged. So during this lunch break, he went onto the stage and plugged it. They fined us 10,000 for that.
What?
Something like that. That kind of number, yeah. Yeah, 10,000. And then
that's insane, by the way.
MSG don't play.
No, but plugging something in is...
But they tell you the rules beforehand.
Yeah.
Now, this guy was like, oh, it was a hazard. I just went to plug in. They didn't care. You know, it is what it is, you know. And then also the artist was running, you know, there was traffic coming into the venue.
Yeah.
So we went on stage slightly later. Now, we have a set time. So me and the playback guy, we become best friends. Because I was like, how much left? I'm that guy in the corner, like, you know. And we had a support artist go on, and I had to cut this support artist. And this support artist had come on the whole tour with us. He had done amazing, you know, such a patient artist.
Yeah.
And I had to cut his set from 5 songs or something, and his best songs to probably like 2. So I made that cut, and it's hard to do that, but if I didn't make that cut, we would have been fined 25,000 for every 15 minutes. So I managed to negotiate 10 minutes. And this negotiation of 10 minutes for free was only because I was compliant, I was really lovely.
Yeah.
You have to have a relationship with the venue management and just try so that you, in the anticipation that you're going to have a challenge at the end, you know? So I managed to get like 10 minutes, but they were like, if it gets to 11 minutes, it's $25,000. So I made sure we had like 30 seconds to go, and I was like, yeah, we're cut.
They're like, cut the camera.
But we managed to finish. We finished the set, and the art, because I didn't want the main artist, Ashake himself, to have his set time cut.
Yeah.
So I now had to cut a bit of this, because the support was coming in between his performance. It wasn't beforehand.
Oh, okay. So that kind of made it a little bit easier to...
Yeah. So I now had to cut that. That wasn't nice, because this was a major artist, and it's not nice to have your set cut, but...
Wow.
You have to do what you have to do. So those are hard decisions that you have to do, and you deal with the fallout later. This artist may not be or may be upset with you. Luckily he wasn't, but you know, things like that happen. And you have to make those decisions on the fly.
Yeah. Literally. And that takes resilience as well, and knowing
you have to be able to say, no.
Just got to go. And these are things that the audience don't see behind stage. They'll never know. But
nope.
It's wow, okay. That is a very big challenge, and
it's part and parcel of the job, you know, but the main thing is just time management. If we can follow the time management, we'll be fine.
Yeah. Some things are out of your control.
Then
so
you have to make movements later on. Yes, you have to adapt. Yeah.
So you have to have a skill of just being able to change things on the spot.
Absolutely. And you get, for those coming, you get thrown a lot of curveballs, and you have to know how to manage them and just be strong enough to just do what you need to do.
Yeah. Wow. We were talking earlier, and we were talking about you being one of the only tour managers in this space. And I know you've spoken about female empowerment and having female in positions of power. How important is that to you?
It's very, very important, because, you know, the team that I have, I think I realized, you know, you work in a bubble and you don't realize what you have. The team I had were females.
I love that.
And you just realize that, oh, okay, we can actually do this without, you know, some guys. You know, it's possible. Now, of course, vendors are still, you know, male orientated. Some of the crew that you see screwing the bits and pieces into the sky, they're females. And
wow.
Yeah, you see them. And there's whilst on tour, I met a couple of female lighting directors, sound engineers, and that excites me, you know, because there isn't enough, you know.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes young girls don't realize that you can go into this field. You know, you only think, when they're thinking about music, they want to be they want to be a singer. They don't think, I want to be a sound engineer. You know, that possibility sometimes is just not on the table. We don't realize that it's available. So it's very important for me to, you know, work with, or, you know, have relationships with other females in the industry. Yeah. And there's so few of us, you know, that I know of. And I think in this Afrobeat space, we have far more female artist managers than in this touring space. The touring space
is...
I'm scrambling for names.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think the industry needs to do to get more females in this space? Because I think a lot of females for sure think, what are the record label jobs that I can firstly go for, or like you said, A&Rs and stuff, but like touring isn't something that would automatically come to people's heads?
Yeah, it's really difficult. And I think it's not necessarily an easy space to get into, if I'm honest. I was blessed to work, like I said, with Cocoa Bar. And I think by wearing multiple hats, I've been able to navigate into developing my company, Hera Touring. But if I was just starting out, I wouldn't know where to start. You know, there's openings there's loads of promoters within Live Nation, within AEG, Kilimanjaro. You know, there's all these mainstream companies that are leading the way in the touring space, in the mainstream touring space. A lot of them are, you know, dibble dabble into the Afrobeat space, but if you are able to start as a promoter's assistant, and then, you know, they have roles that are called promoters within their ecosystem. By doing these roles, you will start getting a taste of what it is to be a tour manager. And whether you go out on your own and develop your own thing, or you just continue in that space, you can. But there are, you know, tour managers, promoters, assistants, things like that, but within the mainstream corporations, you know, just not independence. There's not enough independent ones. Yeah.
In terms of your team, especially like a lot of the females in your team, what specific skills you've trained them to have, especially being in the space? Is there anything that you're like, okay, if you're going to work for me, I need you to...
The first things first is you're not going to don't get, I'm going to use a street term, gassed about the artist. I don't need somebody that's going to be starstruck and can I take a picture with you? For me, you'll be fired because you're not focused. I might sound harsh, but I need people that are more focused on getting the job done and delivering, because that is what is important. You know, if you're just here to be a fan, you know, for example, big fan of Olamide. God knows how I'm going to work on that day. But but even no matter how much I'm a fan, I would put that aside because I need to deliver the job. So one of the first skill set is just don't be starstruck. That's the first thing. Then you have to, I rely so much on common sense. I don't have time to handhold. You know, you have to, this thing, it takes a lot of common sense. You know, if something is not being done, just do it. You know, it's common sense, it's initiative. So you need to have initiative. You need to be able to, these are the qualities I required of my own team. Luckily, bless, one of the team members is my spawn, my daughter. Yeah, she's 22 now, but now she's moved in. She's studying to be a solicitor now, so I have an opening.
That's amazing. That's incredible, firstly.
Yeah, she's got a year left and then she's a solicitor. But yeah, just being strong to do the needful. And anybody that works around me or knows me, you kind of pick up my cues. So, you know, they tend to know when I'm about to lose it. So they try to mitigate it before it happens. I don't lose it much, but yeah, you have to push really far for me to lose it.
Hopefully I never see that. Mentorship's also a very big thing for you.
Yes, yeah.
So you actually mentored Rebecca. You still do it, right? I think
Rebecca Winter.
Yeah.
You know, years ago she asked me to be a manager, and I just can't do artist management. I can't do it. Yeah, I don't know why. It's never been something I wanted to do. But I said, look, I can't be your manager, but I can mentor you. I can advise you. I can guide you on your music. I can guide you on your journey. I can place you wherever it's possible. I can introduce you to anything and everything and everyone, and I can make sure that I lead you in the right direction. I can do that, you know, whilst being able to, because my job is too heavy for me to be an artist manager as well. So I've always mentored Rebecca, you know, just because I see so much potential in her. She's amazing and she works so hard. I met her in a community event, and she performed in that community event as if she performed in O2 Arena. She, you know, and I saw, that's the kind of gusto that really appealed to me. That just because you're in a community center doesn't mean you're not going to give your all. And that's why I thought, this is it. Yeah, so I've mentored her for a few years now.
Do you remember the first piece of, or one piece of advice you gave to her, especially as an Afrofusion artist?
I can't remember one advice, but what I've always tried to get her to do is see beyond the now. Always look forward. Don't stick to one genre and box yourself in. So I've always tried to get her to think about the sound and just thinking futuristically, like what could people be interested in, and just try to create something along those lines, as opposed to just your standard, the sound that we're hearing right now is great for right now, but we need to set you apart. So we're still working on that, Yeah.
I love that. Okay, you've done stadiums, arenas, everything. What is next for you? What is something on your like bucket list and you're like, okay, I actually want to do this next? Is there anything? Is there like a goal that you've given yourself that you're like, actually, do you know what?
That's a fantastic question. And the answer is probably no. I just want to grow Hera Touring. So far, like I said, I'd worked with Cocoa Bar for a number of years.
Yeah.
And now Hera Touring is standing on its own.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to tour more. I mean, a lot with some of the artists I've done before. New artists, there's so many new artists coming out. My goodness, the talent pool is crazy. And I would love to, I want to build Hera Touring's brand and its positioning as a female-led touring company, and just work with these artists and just continue building. At some point, I want to retire and just
not yet. No, we need you.
hand over to these, people that I'm developing. And I can't do this forever.
No, but we still need you now, so you can't do that.
For now.
Where do you see the Afrobeats touring industry going in the next couple of years, next 5 years?
I think we're facing a bit of challenging times at the moment. We can't ignore the economic impact that everybody's facing at the moment, and that's impacting disposable income. Is impacting what people have left to actually enjoy themselves, and I think we're seeing that impacted in a drop in ticket sales. So it's a challenging time, and I don't think it's just on Afrobeats. I think it's across the touring world.
Yeah, there's been a shift.
It's a massive shift, but it will affect us a lot more because we're very niche. We're still growing. Artists are having to review their pricing structures because the more an artist charges, the more we have to do. It impacts the ticket prices. So now we need to move to a space more of partnership working, where artist management teams sort of think about not only, what they're going to be generating themselves, but how what they have impacts, or what they command impacts the promoter and ticket sales. If we're able to have that kind of relationship and understanding and partnership with artists and teams, then I think we'll definitely recover and we'll definitely grow. But, and I think a lot from what I'm seeing, the conversations I'm having, artists are now understanding that we need to kind of scale back. I think 2023 was almost a bonanza year because, the mainstreams was offering crazy amounts of money. And that makes it difficult because, then the revenues kind of like a little bit, it kind of reduces because you may not sell out. And then the mainstream says, oh no, Afrobeats is dead.
Yeah.
And then what happens there?
Yeah. So there's a domino effect.
Exactly. There's a domino effect. So now we're seeing a resurgence of local promoters like myself, like Cocoa Bar, and everybody, now trying to build it back up.
Yeah.
But we can't build it up when you're still expecting the money from that you received from the mainstreams. Because those numbers were not realistic anyway.
Yeah.
Those numbers were probably offered to get them away from the local promoters.
Yeah, and now it's like
we're back,
Yeah.
So we need a lot more partnership working, just so that we can consider the economic impact on the audience. For example, with the Olamide show, I started tickets at £22.50, just so that there's some affordability.
Yeah.
And we scaled it up that way. Again, so that we can afford the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we can't have a loss. So we scaled it, but there was availability of £22.50, 24, 30, 430, 450.
Yeah.
Just prices that I call McDonald's money, you know, money that, you know, if you were to get a takeaway, it's easy. I didn't want people to think too
To
hard.
impact them. Yeah.
Yeah, to buy these tickets. So when we start thinking about the audience in that sense, then we'll be fine. You know, and I'm seeing it like we're almost sold out. Yeah.
Wow, congrats. You put that very beautifully. Before we wrap up, what do you want your legacy to be?
My legacy, Auntie Abi.
Auntie Abby's making me laugh.
You know what? That name was coined early on, probably the same age as some of these artists, right? But I coined it because as a woman, I didn't want to be seen as a sex object. I wanted a level of respect right from the jump. So I've been Auntie Abby for 15 years or 20 years or something silly like that. And I'm not that old, you know? Yeah. But I just put that name in place so that they didn't see me as somebody that you can try. Sorry, I diverge. But I want my legacy as Auntie Abby to be the person that delivered. You know, I've always taken my pride and joy in what I deliver, you know. My assistant would, at 10 o'clock, you know, when I'm always, you know, radio, going, you know, and she's, stop. And I'm like, yeah, but stop. Look around.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, and I look around in the arena and I think,
wow.
Like when I looked around at the stadium, I tears.
And you
because
yeah.
I dealt with every single factor I could. I know your name. You bought tickets here. I knew everything.
Yeah.
You know, and I looked around and I thought, I want to be able to look around at my legacy and think, I did that. I made an impact. I developed something or I contributed to something that I have daughters, that my daughters can be proud of and they can build on, you know? Yeah. So I really want my legacy to just be that I was here and I did something in this Afrobeat space. That's basically it.
Wow, and you've done it. So you can't retire.
Still working on it, yeah.
Yeah, but you can't retire. I'm not saying that so you retire.
Yeah.
You can't retire, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
Thank you for letting us tell your story, because I've learnt so much and I'm praying that this really touches a lot of people and people that want to get into touring.
Yeah.
And knowing that.
I hope more young people get into touring.
Yeah.
There's so much that we can do in the Afrobeat space. It's not just about working directly with the artists. You can work around them in their ecosystem. We can all contribute to build.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Take care.